Well, guys, guess what? We got some new footage for the Death Note live action movie that's coming out on Netflix next month in August and stuff. So it's kind of crazy to think about because, we just got a trailer not too long ago, and same with, a teaser months back. So now we're getting another clip. But this is due to the fact that, San Diego Comic Con's going on right now. And even though I'm a little late to this because this dropped on July 20th, it's July 22nd right now, I still did want to do a breakdown for you guys talking about this Death Note live action movie, this little clip that just came out, and my thoughts on it, analyzing it bit by bit and stuff. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting. You guys know I'm going to be covering every kind of major bit of info or news or clips or anything like that until the movie actually comes out. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you aren't already, and I'm definitely going to be reviewing the movie when it comes out. So let's get right to it. All right. So as we see right here,
shall we begin?
definitely right after Light discovered the Death Note for the first time, in that scene where it falls on him while he's like outside and stuff. He probably went inside. He probably tested it out a bit. He's kind of scared. And an apple falls. Of course, it's great that they're keeping the apple thing because that's one thing that makes Ryuk so unique. And he's eating this apple. That was a funny scene right there. And Light's scared. And I'm gonna talk about this in just a bit as the scene progresses and stuff. So yeah. And William Dafoe's Ryuk is fantastic. I'll get to it laterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, Light's scared. So I'm going to talk about it right here. Light, when this first came out, he didn't really show that many signs of fear. Alright? If anything, he was to Ryuk like, I was waiting for you or something along those lines. So Light wasn't really that much of a scared human. So this Light seems to be a little more relatable, but I can also see this being like a huge flaw in terms of Light's character. Because Light, in some ways, Light was scarier than Ryuk. Like, Ryuk, sure, looks intimidating, and Light looks just like a regular guy. But Light, deep down, Light is a savage person. Light is a murderer. Light has practically a cold heart. And seeing Ryuk wouldn't really make that much of a difference considering how corrupt his mind became after this Death Note and whatnot. He immediately saw it as justice. Light right here is kind of scared. And I understand that they're going to have to go with a realistic feel because, not everyone is a psychopath. It's going to show the story of this regular guy who became a psychopath because, in my opinion, Light wasn't even all that evil before he discovered the Death Note. But I feel like this one, Light being this scared, isn't really that true to his character. But I understand this is an entirely new adaptation based on the original manga and anime, so obviously they can't be word for word. This is an entirely new world, everything like that, just based on the original manga and anime. Goes to show, and yeah, let's keep watching.
Relax, Light. You're asleep. You're asleep and you're dreaming of some 8-foot tall demon-looking motherfucker.
Okay, that line's actually really funny. I'm not gonna lie. Light's not believing this at first. I don't really think it was really like this in the original scene, but like I said, it's an entirely new adaptation. They're gonna go with it. Hopefully, we actually do see Light become a psychopath once and for all. And if they do that, then I mean, whatever. I feel like Light's character still isn't being given justice, but just based on this one scene that's definitely early on in the movie, we can't really judge too much. So there's that. He's all scared. That the motherfucking line was pretty funny. So judging for this is probably going to be TVMA from the looks of it, and I'm fine with that. But I hope they don't go over the top because sometimes you don't need to go over the top for something to be suspenseful or anything like that. Let's put it in perspective. Death Note was TV-14 until the last 2 episodes, and it didn't need to be TVMA because it wasn't like too gruesome or anything like that. So there's that.
Oh,
I'm sorry, that sounded so pedophilic, like I'm not even kidding. But William Dafoe's Ryuk, I could go on and on praising him. In fact, the last Death Note trailer analysis thing I had, William Dafoe looks great as Ryuk.
a dream. I like that. Dreams are places you can have fun, right?
Not only does he nail the voice, ideally, he also nails the personality of Ryuk. Ryuk has this little playful-ish side to him, kind of goofy, but also kind of, like, dirty. Yeah, it seems like he can backstab you any second and stuff like that. So there's that. I definitely like what they're doing here.
It's all in your mind, so why not enjoy it?
And I do like that they added that line in right there, because, Light is the only one who can technically see Ryuk, because he touched the Death Note at this very current moment in time. So there's that. I like that they had that little line right there.
Shh. Listen. Go check it out.
Yeah, see, Ryuk is actually kind of interested, and I know a lot of people aren't actually too great on this, because they feel like, oh, Ryuk would want Light himself to test it out, and that's kind of what he is doing here, to be honest. Like, Ryuk is letting Light, like, test this out. He's having fun with it, because Ryuk is a bored Shinigami who likes to see the pain of humans, to see them themselves get corrupt when he doesn't even have to do anything. So that's I really like what they're doing here with the writing, and yeah, we're gonna get to it. Alright, Light's just walking over. Excuse me. I just had some Coke earlier. Alright. Coca-Cola, of course. And you see, she's getting bullied by these two punks.
Could, in this dream of yours, take care of a situation like this.
See, I like what they're doing here. Is it's like Ryuk's kind of explained to Light this is sort of like a dream. Like, this wouldn't even seem real, but guess what? It kind of is. So he's kind of mispersuading Light, or dissuading, I should say, into thinking this is real, this is kind of a dream. You can do whatever, and thus this is probably going to cause Light's failure at the end of the movie, which I think will definitely happen, but we'll see how it turns out.
We just put Kenny's name down and see what happens.
Yeah, he's just like, Ryuk already knows because, you know, Shinigami eyes and stuff. And he's kind of persuading Light, like, hey, you should probably write this name. And I definitely do like what they're doing here. Passing the death note. Ryuk looks fantastic, by the way. He looks super creepy. Hang on, I'll fast forward. Yeah, there we go. Ryuk looks super creepy. And even I got a little scared looking at this, but oh my gosh, they're handling it ideally. I'm so excited for Ryuk. I made a whole video on why he's going to be so great, but yeah.
I know you want to.
Yeah, Light's kind of like, nah, I probably shouldn't. But then Ryuk's like, oh, you probably should. It's like, I definitely do like what they're doing here. Light is not like kind of corrupt from the start. Light was expecting Ryuk right from the bat. Because as soon as he saw the death note, you know, he was like, I can do some things with this. Like, he was still experimenting it with this and whatnot. And yeah, I like what they're doing there.
Go on. Help her.
Help her. I love this line in particular. Like, I know it's kind of funny because these past two videos, I was kind of like being sort of negative towards this movie, but I really like what they're doing here from the clip. So hopefully this movie can surprise me and actually be pretty good. I don't know about that, though. I really don't know. Aside from William Dafoe's Ryuk and that amazing writing right there, this movie's still probably going to be ass.
I don't have a pen.
He just passed him a pen. I love that.
It's a good thing that you have a pen.
That's funny.
Good.
Now,
As long as we're playing,
yeah.
let's do it right.
Okay, so yeah, Light probably knew this guy, definitely right from the bat. He probably did know, just knows his last name, right? Because for a second when I first saw this, before I saw him write the last name, I thought, oh my god, you only need the first name and the face. This is ridiculous. But then, you know, it comes down to this.
There's no need to stop it. Who?
Sorry, what else is there?
How?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that line, to be honest. Like, I feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like Light could have just discovered that on his own. Because later words in the series, when Light is discovering that he can choose the cause of death for people, that makes him improve. That makes him learn himself rather than just being told it. So I kind of wish they'd save that for later, but it's not that big of a detail, to be honest. He's writing his name. And decapitation. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting scene to see. I don't know. Hope they don't go too over the top of this movie. Like, come on, we don't. Death though was never even that gruesome. It was suspenseful for the most part. Decapitation.
Now, watch.
Watch. He's forcing him to watch, and that's pretty much all we got. 2.5 minutes. I will say this did kind of bring out my moods for. I'm even more excited for Ryuk. For Light, I'm I don't know. If I only saw this scene, I'm like, okay, they're showing he's gonna get more corrupt throughout the movie, and then he's gonna be the true light character. But I feel like with the way things are turning out, and like later words in the movie, I remember from trailers and stuff, we saw, Light was like, we're the good guys, or he had this completely unlike character, unlight, I should say, pun not intended. It didn't come off that great. Anyways, it was atrocious. Like, it didn't even feel like a solid character. It was like, oh, that's great, It's like, oh my gosh, I really didn't like it because it's not light scare. It's not just that, this is a different adaptation, but it doesn't feel relatable. It's kind of bland, and I get that they're going for like a more relatable type thing because he gets more corrupt throughout the movie. And to be honest, when you see Ryuk here is way more scarier than cartoon Ryuk. That's all I'm saying. So you're gonna be more destined to freak out. But even so, like in the original, Light had no fear, and if they're going to show the development, at least make him better words once he actually gets developed. Because I assume that scene where he's like, we're not the good guys and stuff, I would assume that's like towards the end or climax or something like that. The climax in the film. And I'm not really like, oh my gosh. I would have much rather preferred if they used completely different characters. William Dafoe could stay as Ryuk, but there was no need to maybe have a completely new protagonist. I get that they're, changing it from Light Yagami to Light Turner, but my gosh. I can't look at this without thinking Light. Light meets Ryuk. It really just pissed me off. And the same thing with L. I think the guy who portrays L definitely has some potential, but it doesn't seem. The guy seems like he's doing fine, but it kind of comes off like the writers don't know what they're talking about. I have no problem with him being black, to be honest. It's no big deal. If as long as he still understands the character, it's fine. And it seems like the actor has the potential, but the problem is the writers aren't really fully extending L's character. They make him into something that is not. And as far as I know, Ryuk is the only character who I know is going to be fantastic. Now, we still have other characters to see, like Soichiro Yagami, Light's dad. We still have to see a full extent of Misa or Mia Sutton. But from the looks of it, she seems almost as bad as L. Or Light, but oh my gosh, at least, if only the writers had maybe kept it intact with L's character and watched the series a little better to get a better understanding. But, this is not going to be as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution. Let's face it, because at least this is going to have Ryuk, and at least it's going to have a decent concept. But I feel like just since this is based off the original, they didn't need I don't think they really need to keep the original characters. Even though, Light, its name has changed, it's still Light, And I feel like just having a new protagonist with a completely new name would have been just fine. Like freaking Brian and the Death Note. Brian Turner. That's generic name, but it works, okay? Because we're not going to be thinking of Light when we watch this movie. We're going to be thinking it's an entirely new protagonist. Ryuk is, given the Death Note, it could be fine, But then, they're just kind of doing the old characters injustice. And probably, after I watch this movie, I'm probably just going to go rewatch the original series. And then, forget this happened. So yeah, guys, that's just my thoughts here. That I kind of wanted to do a little rant. It definitely seems like Light's character is not Light. They might as well just created an entirely new character, not even named Light, okay? Because this character is not Light Yagami. It's not. It's trying to, and it shouldn't even try. It should have just went with an entirely new protagonist, entirely new cast of characters, and then it would have been fine, okay? So yeah, anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. What are you guys' thoughts on this, Death Note live action stuff? Do you agree with me, disagree? Either way, I want you all to know something. This video is entirely my opinion. Everything I say is subjective. I'm saying this with all my Death Note stuff because I know this topic is kind of controversial. Everything I say is my opinion. You have the right to disagree, but at the end of the day, we're all have the freedom of speech to voice what we want about this movie. So there's that. Anyways, guys, yeah, I know my outro right there sounded kind of weird, but anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching, and Ninja out. Peace, everybody, and have a good day.